The last Saturday of August, and the Yankees are in town. New York won the ball game 6-3 last night. This will be the final time the Yankees will be at Rogers Center for the 2014 season. Joe Girardi's ball club, 7 games back of the front-running Orioles in the AL East. Let's take a look at their lineup. No Jacoby Ellsbury sprained his ankle in the game last night. Gardner's a leadoff man right behind him. Derek Jeter. He is 7 for 14, all singles against Drew Hutchison, and that's the matchup he'll deal with this afternoon. And way down in that 6th spot, Martin Prado. Boy, he has been a great pickup for the Yankees. Got off to a little bit of a slow start when he first joined New York, but his last 13 games, he's at .377. 9 extra base hits and 10 RBIs. Prado, a terrific pickup for New York.
Much deeper lineup, I think, for the Yankees than the last time the Blue Jays faced him. Drew Hutchison gets set for his 27th start of the season. He's thrown 150 innings this year. That's the most that he has thrown in any of his 5 professional seasons. He limited Tampa to 1 run over 6 innings in his last start. He got a no decision after leaving that game trailing 1-0, and he's making his 5th start already against the Yankees this season. He snapped a 3-game losing streak, and remember the team's 17-game losing streak at Yankee Stadium. The last time they were there when he faced the Yankees, July 26th.
Drew Hutchison turned 24 years old on the 22nd of August. He is, as Pat mentioned, making his 5th start of the season against New York. A lot of familiarity with these hitters. Here's the first pitch of the game, and Gardner cuts on it and fouls it back. 22 degrees. It's a gorgeous afternoon. There was a thunderstorm that passed through Toronto very briefly early on in the morning. The roof was closed, of course, and it's a gorgeous day now. Gardner moved up into that leadoff spot with Ellsbury out of the lineup. This is hit in the air, center fielder. Pilar coming in, and he has to dive again and makes the catch. I think Kevin Pilar thought Reyes was going to come out and make that catch, and Pilar stayed with it. He's able to dive and make another highlight reel catch.
This is a carbon copy from what we saw last night. The only difference, he's wearing a blue jersey this afternoon. He thought Reyes had the shot at that one, then at the last second had to dive for it. It looked like it might have popped out of his glove, but he squeezes it against his chest to make the first out.
Kevin Pilar is a good defender, and that was a tough play. He froze for a minute. Derek Jeter getting the welcome here. He goes after the first pitch. Well, we mentioned that the Yankees know all about Drew Hutchison, and they're up there hacking, looking for that fastball.
Joe Girardi has sent 11 left-handed batters in his lineup this afternoon against Hutchison.
Bouncing ball. Nice play by Valencia. In time at first. 2 down. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by Jose Cuervo, the world's best-selling tequila. Have a story with Jose Cuervo.
Once again, it's going to be Kevin Pilar on the play that we just saw in center field. The concentration, he's got the sunglasses on, he's tracking the ball, leaves his feet, catches it, and watch the glove as it looks like it's starting to fall off of his hand. And as he rolls over, caresses it against his chest to finish the out.
Good job by Pilar, playing in center field again. This is his 4th straight start in center. Carlos Beltran moves into the 3rd spot. Well, I tell you what, Joe Girardi got a lot of options. He can mix and match this lineup any way he wants to.
And that's why he's got those 7 left-handed batters in that lineup this afternoon. Would have been 8 if Ellsbury could have gone. So Drew Hutchison has got to be able to get that changeup down and away.
1 and 2, 2 outs. There's that sinking fastball that bounced on home plate.
That's another wrinkle. The changeup and I think the 2-seamer are going to be very key pitches for Hutch this afternoon against the Yankees, especially the left-handers. Pete Walker was telling you and I before the ballgame today that he's pitching inside more. He's got to jam up some of these hitters to open up that pitch.
Beltran stays alive. Pitching inside is an art. A lot of people don't understand. It can be very difficult for pitchers to really have command and turn the ball loose inside. Some guys can pitch inside, but it's not really effective because they guide it in there. Good start for Hutchison. Retires the side in order on just 10 pitches and strikes out Beltran. Good play in the outfield by Pilar. He's 6-3 in last night's game. Blue Jays lineup sets up like this. Reyes Kawasaki moves into the second spot. Cabrera, Bautista, and then Adam Lind is in the fifth spot at first base. He's 4 for 11 against Michael Pineda. The Yankees started this afternoon. He's hit a double and 2 home runs against the big right-hander. And then down in the ninth spot, Kevin Pillar on his homestand has gone 4 for 12, 3 doubles. And he's made some fine defensive plays, as we saw in the top half of this inning. They're set to take on Michael Pineda.
7 starts this year for Pineda, 3-2, 195 earned run average for Pineda, and he's faced the Blue Jays more than any opponent in his career. He's 1-1 with a 438 earned run average in 4 starts. In fact, he earned his first big league win over the Blue Jays when he was a member of the Seattle Mariners. That was back in April of 2011.
That was his second big league start. He went up against Ricky Romero and won the game 3-2 as Romero threw a complete game in the loss. Jose Reyes is set. Here's the big right-hander's first pitch. The tough fastball is in there. One thing that Pineda has done is he's really cut down on the walks. He's walked just 4 batters this season compared to 27 strikeouts. There's a base hit for Reyes. A one-hop single to right. Well, the Yankees, we mentioned their versatility in their lineup. It also plays on defense. Prado was in left field. He started at third last night. Gardner is in center in place of Ellsbury. The Gold Glover Ichiro in right. Headley and Jeter on the left side. Drew's the second baseman. Teixeira, a Gold Glove infield for sure. And the first-year Yankee Brian McCann behind the plate for Michael Pineda.
And Martin Prado has meant a lot to this team. He's going to make his 3rd start in left field for the Yankees. That pushes Gardner into center field for his 9th start. A lot of versatility with the Yankees.
Martin Prado is in left field, and you bet he's going to keep an eye on the bench to get the defensive alignment from Yankee coaching staff. Kawasaki moves into the 2 spot in the order. Martin Prado is in left field. Now he's checking with Ellsbury. And look at, he's looking in his hat. He's got his defensive alignments in his hat. I guarantee you that's what it is. Reminding himself where to play. And then he looked back into the bench to confirm that.
So that's like the quarterback in football with the plays on his wrist. He's got the defensive alignment in his hat.
Brett Gardner is in center today with Ellsbury out of the starting lineup. One and one to Kawasaki. Upstairs. Michael Pineda is an imposing figure. He's 6'7" and listed at 265. He's a big man out there.
Yeah, you put him on top of that pitching mound, and he looks even taller. Doesn't throw as hard as he did when we first saw him a couple of years ago when he was with Seattle, but he's very impressive.
In that first start against the Blue Jays, he averaged 97.3 miles an hour with his fastball. He threw 69 fastballs in that start. One touched 99. And I can remember our reaction first time we had a chance to see him. He was impressive. He pitched 7 1/3, allowed 5 hits, and struck out 7.
We'll always remember the shot we had of him standing next to Felix Hernandez.
Fouled off the catcher. Yeah, Hernandez is a big man himself, but he looked like an average person up against Michael Pineda. Two balls and 2 strikes. Reyes with the leadoff single at first. 23 for 25 in steals this season. Inched off a little bit further, and that drew the throw from Pineda.
He bluffed on the last pitch like he was trying to steal against Pineda, so I think that woke up the Yankees. Got the throw over sign from the bench. Not a bad time to go 2-2.
Reyes is tied for 6th in the American League in stolen bases. Not running. Kawasaki strikes out. First strikeout of the afternoon for Pineda.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. Experience the thrill today at your local Acura dealer.
Prado just making sure he's in the right spot. Melky Cabrera is the hitter now. That's awesome. Tell you what, good players aren't an accident.
Yeah. How about that? Just his 3rd start in the outfield and left field for the Yankees, so he's making sure he's playing in the right spot.
Cabrera goes after the first pitch. Melky will mix it up. Oftentimes he'll take a look at that first pitch. But if he's got a pretty good idea, he might get that first pitch cookie. He's hacking.
Especially with runners in scoring position, we've seen Melky go up there getting ready to swing the bat early. And I think for a hitter, it's all about feel. How do you feel against this guy? Do you see the ball? And he obviously sees the ball against Pineda.
You'll hear in the background the roar of a jet engine. The CNE Air Show is taking place now, and that's going to be going on all afternoon. So don't be alarmed if you hear a jet buzzing over the top of Rogers Center. Outside, Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, has got a reputation for having a generous strike zone. But that ball was off the plate. Michael Pineda is just 25 years old. Shoulder surgery in 2012. There goes Reyes. Cut on and missed. The throw from McCann is high and late. Reyes picks up his 24th stolen base of the season.
It's only been thrown out 2 times. I just don't think that the Blue Jays can sit back and wait for the home run. I think they have to make something happen. And when you've got that type of speed on the bases like Jose Reyes, I think you have to take advantage of that. Blue Jays do early on in this game as he picks up his 24th stolen base.
McCann has thrown well this season. He's caught 33% of the base stealers, but that throw was high and late. 1 out, Reyes in scoring position. Cabrera reaches for it and it bounces foul. See the crowd in the background looking up at the jet that's participating in the air show, and it's going to be going on all afternoon. It's part of what we do in Labor Day weekend here in Toronto.
Where were we where we just had an air show?
Chicago.
That's right. We're in Chicago. Same thing going on.
Another 1-2 pitch to Melky Cabrera. Another pitch is hit foul into the seats. Pineda was acquired by the New York Yankees in a much talked about deal. Yankees gave up their top catching prospect, Jesus Montero, and a good pitching prospect in Hector Noesi. Neither Montero nor Noesi did anything for the Mariners.
Noesi is no longer in the organization.
With the White Sox now. Montero is rehabbing, and he has had an incident that has caused the Mariners to suspend him basically for the rest of the season. So he has really fallen on hard times. He's only 24 years old, but he's not been the player the Mariners thought they had traded for. Quite a battle going on here with Pineda and Cabrera. You're right. Pineda is not that power pitcher that we once saw. Bautista will be next. He's in the cleanup spot today. But he had that shoulder surgery in 2012, and it's been an ongoing battle against injuries.
Yeah, he's lost some miles per hour, although since the All-Star break, his fastball velocity is up a couple of ticks, averaging about 93 miles an hour now on that fastball. It was at 91 before the disabled list.
Full count. Now, shoulders are a different cap than elbows. We have seen an awful lot of guys come back from Tommy John surgery and their velocity will increase, but it's not the same with a shoulder. There's so many different muscles in that shoulder that combine to make up the rotator cuff, and all of the things that go wrong. Shoulders just don't bounce back as well as elbows.
That's right. If you have a choice, and nobody wants to have that choice, you'd much rather have an elbow injury.
Now kick, knocked down by Edley. Out at first, and Teixeira won't make the return throw as Reyes advances to third. Well, so with 2 outs, Jose Bautista has homered in 3 straight games. First time since 2011 he's done that.
That was July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He now has 10 home runs since the All-Star break. He got the Red Sox a couple of times. That one was against Joe Kelly off of a changeup deep to center field. And then this one last night, Capuano tries to slip one by him, and Jose says, not so fast. Laser into left field for his 27th of the season. It's also his 80th RBI this year. So Jose is trying to put another souvenir in the stands for those people right there. They wanted to see a Bautista bomb.
They've been coming in bunches for sure. Reyes at third. That breaking ball breaks over the inside corner. Good numbers across the board for Bautista. 283, 27, and 80. He's been a consistent run producer. There's that slider, a little more depth on that breaking ball.
Yeah, that one did not go side to side. It looked like a fastball, then it dropped down on the outside corner.
This is popped up over near the Yankees dugout. McCann will give it a look, but it bounces off a fan's glove back into the dugout.
How about the little bit of information we found out today about the foul lines here at Rogers Center? Only Oakland's Coliseum, or O.Co Coliseum, has more foul balls caught than Rogers Center.
Yeah, and you know what? We just never really thought of it, but it is a lot of foul territory. You can see the way these stands go away from the playing field. A lot of those pop-ups are caught. second time in his career he's homered in 4 straight games. The last time was late in 2009.
I'll tell you, Michael Pineda threw one too many sliders to Bautista. He measured them and finally got one over the middle of the plate. He watched the first 2 go by. He's in the hole 0-2. Then he threw him another slider, and it was a hanger, and Jose fouled it off. He went right back to it, and that ball was covered to left field.
That's his 100th career home run here at Rogers Center. And it gives Hutchison a 2-0 lead.
Look at that breaking ball, not doing much. Right over the heart of the plate, and that's what good hitters do to mistakes.
There's a drive deep to right. Ichiro looking up on the warning track, makes the catch. Lynn gave it a ride, but Bautista was a no-doubter. A line shot into the second deck for Bautista, number 28 of the season, number 100 here at Rogers Center. Afternoon. He did it last night in the 4th inning, taking a hit away from Brian McCann, and today he did it against Jeter. Almost a carbon copy catch.
The exact same type of catch. The backhand, he spreads out. Yesterday in the white jersey, today in the blue jersey, rolls over, and watch him cradle it on the right. Make sure that that ball doesn't fall out. Good plays, both of them.
Kevin Pillar was drafted in the 32nd round out of Dominguez Hills, California State University, a Division II school in Los Angeles.
And I can't tell you, if you didn't say Los Angeles, I had no idea where that was.
Yeah, small D2 school, and he didn't get any offers from a major school. Got a chance to play there and earned his way into pro ball. Mark Teixeira quickly behind 0-2. Teixeira having a down season, batting .226. Checked his swing, and Navarro wasn't quite sure that he checked in time, but Bill Miller quickly asked third base umpire for his opinion. Been a struggle lately for Teixeira, just 4 for his last 32. That's a fair ball. Teixeira saying no, it's a foul ball as he was running up the first baseline.
Finger cooked tonight. Order from over 100 menu items at bostonpizza.com. Proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Spectacular afternoon here in Toronto. Drew Hutchison staked to a 2-0 lead on Jose Bautista's 2-run 2-out homer. Brian McCann, the catcher. Good fastball. Good location more than anything, and Hutchison finished up strong in his last outing. And here he strikes out McCann on a high heater.
Pete Walker was talking about Hutchison before the ball game, and he's saying he's strong, he's had good bullpens, he's not getting tired. Again, 150 innings coming into this game, the most in his 5 professional seasons. And yes, he does have a good fastball this afternoon so far. That one upstairs against McCann, throws it right by him.
Second strikeout.
His changeup, I think, is going to be important in his two-seamer, where he can get that away from the lefties. Against the righties, he's going to have to pound him inside.
Martin Prado, picked up from Arizona. Last 13 games, he's hit .377. Pops this one up, it's playable. Valencia wanders into foul territory, makes the catch. Quick inning for Hutchison, just 9 pitches, and the Yankees are down in order. 6 up, 6 down for Hutch. Appreciation Contest is presented by Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Win 4 tickets to the Blue Jays Fan Appreciation Weekend. The prize includes tickets, airfare, hotel, and a chance to throw out the first pitch of the Blue Jays game. The contest closes September 19th. Full rules at BlueJays.com. So sign up today for the All-State Fan Appreciation Contest. It's all presented by Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Edwin Encarnacion dropped down into the order into the 6th spot. Goes after the first pitch and pops it into right. Ichiro coming in quickly, makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 2nd. Now Navarro will step in the box against Pineda. Navarro is one of those highly touted Yankee prospects. He was a switch-hitting catcher, and the Yankees have had a knack for really touting their catching prospects. We mentioned Jesus Montero. He was supposed to be a can't-miss catcher, and he is not a catcher anymore. He's a first baseman and a DH. Navarro spent just 5 games with the Yankees his first season and was traded to L.A. He really came into his own as an everyday player with Tampa Bay.
I know they kept the right one years ago. Jorge Posada. Remember Posada came up, he was actually an infielder, and they moved him to catcher. Had a great career with the Yankees.
Off the end of the bat, Stephen Drew will go to Teixeira, who hustles back in time to step on first. 2 outs. Stephen Drew just getting acclimated with second base. This is his 14th start at second. He's a shortstop. And prior to coming to the Yankees, he'd never played second base before, so it's quite an adjustment for him.
The Yankees got rid of Brian Roberts, who was playing second base for the most part for the Yankees this season. They got rid of him. They picked up Stephen Drew from the Red Sox, playing every day now.
And also got rid of Alfonso Soriano first week of July. One thing about the Yankees, they're not afraid to make changes. Something's not working, they'll fix it. Danny Valencia is in the 8th spot. Valencia, the pinch hit home run on Wednesday. His first home run with the Blue Jays. There's a pop down the right side. Suzuki with a long run, but it's 3 rows back out of play. Danny's been a nice pickup for the Blue Jays. He's playing against the right-hander Pineda. He's had some good at-bats. And one thing we've noticed about Valencia since he's arrived, he's out every day working extra.
Every day. It's either his fielding or it's his hitting.
Line drive to left, and Prado's going to play it on a hop. With 2 outs, Martin Prado made the right move. Concede the base hit. Don't give up extra bases with 2 outs.
As an outfielder, you have to make that decision. It's got to be a split decision. Do I try and dive and make the catch, or do I back off and play the ball on a hop? You play that ball and miss, take a chance to make the catch and miss, Valencia is going to be on second, maybe even third base.
Prado's making just his 3rd start in left field for the Yankees, and again he's going to the chart. He's looking to see where he should be playing against Kevin Pillar. And he balked. Boy, it sure is. Danny Valencia caught Pineda by surprise. Valencia broke. Tim Leeper gave Valencia the heads up. Hey, you can steal this. And he broke early, and Pineda was into his windup.
Timed it perfectly. You see, he gets a walking lead, and then he takes off, and you can hear the whole infield for the Yankees say step off. That's what the pitcher's supposed to do, step off, step back off of that pitching rubber. Instead, he goes into his windup and then stops, and that's a balk.
Kevin Pillar.
That's what he should have done.
Yeah. A little bit too late. Blue Jays lead at 2-0. They can add to their lead right here with 2 outs. And cut fastball sailed off the plate outside. Tim Leeper's the first base coach, and we don't talk an awful lot about first base coaches. Danny Valencia didn't have a steal attempt until that break. But Leeper's always watching pitchers, and he sensed that Pineda was locked in on the catcher. Not so much about the base run. He says, why don't you take a shot? Go right here with 2 outs. It's worth a gamble. And sure enough, Valencia caused the balk, and he's now in scoring position.
7 o'clock game. He'll be here at 1 o'clock looking at films of all the pitchers that they will have a chance to face that night for an afternoon game. He's here very early, and he's looking at that film, and he's trying to find out how long it takes that pitcher to deliver the ball to home plate. And it's just a numbers game. You start adding that, anything over 1-4, and you add that to a catcher, it's usually about 2 seconds to get the ball down to second base. You add that together, and it gives you a starting point if you can try and steal a base.
Pillar stays alive. That late hack was able to foul it off. Well, catchers, you get a catcher that can throw 2 flat from the moment the ball touches his glove to the moment the infielder gets it at second. That's a pretty good release time. And then you factor that in. If you mention with 1-5, that's pretty slow for a pitcher. You can steal a base just about every time.
That's right. And then you add in the fact, like you were saying, that he was locked in with 2 outs on Pillar.
This is popped up left side of the infield. Headley, the third baseman, calls for it. The inning is over. Blue Jays leave a runner in scoring position. We'll move to the third. Jays have a 2-0 lead over the Yankees. Seconds for the biggest at-bats in every game-changing play. Blue Jays in 60 seconds. After every game, only on sportsnet.ca. It is Junior Jays Saturday here at Rogers Center. It's always a great time for the kids to come out and have a lot of fun prior to the game, and then they move indoors and enjoy the ball game. But a lot of kids come out every Saturday for Junior Jays Saturday, and after the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. I think they got their poster today. The Junior Jays poster was given away today.
It's going to be a big crowd, I think, down on that field after the ball game. Over 40,000 last night.
Stephen Drew, number 7 hitter. It'll be Drew, Headley, and Ichiro Suzuki. Drew Hutchison has retired 6 straight to start the game. A couple of strikeouts. Stephen Drew, one of 3 Drew brothers, all drafted in the first round. This is a pop-up. Reyes, the lone defender on the third base side, makes the catch. Drew Hutchison's got a good fastball today, and that always sets him up for a good outing.
Yeah, when you can establish that fastball early on, you can use your slider and your changeup. The slider's got to have some depth to it. And Pete Walker was saying it's been much better. He's been able to stay on top of that much better. And he's getting the depth and the strikeouts that he needs with it. Changeup, I think, is important. He's given up 18 home runs this year, 14 of them to lefties. So he's going to have to get that changeup going down and establish that along with his fastball.
Chase Headley homered in the 9th inning on the first pitch from Dustin McGowan. It was his second at bat. He had pinched hit against Aaron Loup and struck out in the 7th inning. Headley, part of that rebuilding of the Yankees roster mid-season, and they have torn it down and built it back up again. Headley turns on that inside pitch. That would have hit him in the belt buckle.
They just didn't have a third baseman after Alex Rodriguez was suspended for the season. They tried a bunch of different players at third base this year until they finally traded for Chase Headley.
Ground ball, Reyes right straight at shortstop. 2 down. The Yankees have had problems at third base, second base, first base. They've had 8 different right fielders, and they've mixed and matched, but it seems as though now they have the right combination of players to finish out the season.
They had Solarte playing some third, and Kelly Johnson, Zealous Wheeler, Sizemore, Prado's made 6 starts over there.
Ichiro Suzuki goes after that first pitch and rips it into the seats. That's a foul ball. Ichiro might have broken his bat.
Hutchison's got a little zip on his ball today. That one got all in Suzuki's kitchen.
Ichiro Suzuki is now 40 years old. He came to the Mariners in 2001. Rookie of the Year, MVP, All-Star, Gold Glove, and Silver Slugger. Pretty good year for your first year in the majors. He's a 10-time All-Star and a 10-time Gold Glover. He led the American League in hits 7 years.
How many of those were 200-hit seasons? It seemed like every single year this guy was getting 200 hits.
There he strikes out. Drew Hutchison, 3 strikeouts. First time through the order, 9 up, 9 down. Blue Jays lead it 2-0. When we come back, Jose Reyes has singled and scored to Nori Kawasaki. Then Melky Cabrera. Jays lead the Yankees 2-0. That is the official app of Major League Baseball. Listen to live audio, follow games pitch by pitch, and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. An opportunity to keep up to speed when you're at the ballpark. You can check out your MLB at bat. Keep track on everything going around baseball.
You are on that constantly.
Constantly.
On that. You know what's happening in baseball.
I am on it all the time, and certainly I have kept track on the Cubs, and the Blue Jays are going to see the Cubs soon. And Jorge Soler, 2 home runs on Friday night. He's got 3 in his first 3 Major League games. And he will be at Rogers Center. Derek Jeter in pursuit of this pop-up. 1 down.
Now batting is Nori Kawasaki.
It's Junior J's this Saturday, presented by Boston Pizza. And as you can hear, the Junior J's gets to announce the lineups today. It's one of the many fun activities taking place at Junior J's Saturday, all presented by Boston Pizza. Kawasaki struck out in his first at bat. Pineda gave up a 2-run home run to Jose Bautista in the first, and he has settled down since then. Gave up a leadoff single to Reyes and a 2-out home run to Bautista.
You know, I don't know how they do it, Buck. The Yankees, the injuries that they have had to their starting staff. Yet here they are. We're getting ready to go into September. They're going to try and make a playoff push, and they've done it without their big regulars. CC Sabathia, we haven't heard his name for about 3 or 4 months.
CC Sabathia went on the disabled list on the 11th of May. Masahiro Tanaka was making a comeback. He was DL'd on the 9th of July. Now he might be done for the season. He just had a setback most recently. Ivan Nova, April 20th, Kawasaki caught looking at strike 3. He strikes out for a second time, but 4/5 of the Yankees' rotation knocked out with injury. Tanaka has a sore elbow, and they're not sure of the extent of it. He's got a torn ulnar collateral ligament. CC Sabathia's had a knee problem. Novo underwent Tommy John, and Michael Pineda missed 3 months with a shoulder issue. Not many teams could withstand losing 4 of their 5 starters, but the Yankees have done it.
Yeah, and here they are. Heading into September, they're in second place. David Phelps has come in. He pitched some good games for the Yankees. Now he's on the disabled list with an injury. They went out and got Brandon McCarthy. I think it speaks very highly of the Yankee organization and Joe Girardi and his coaches.
Melky Cabrera. Tony Pena is the bench coach for the Yankees. He's a former manager himself and a great catcher in his playing days. And Tony said he can't believe what a great job Joe Girardi has done with all of the adversity this team has been handed. He said Joe never wavers from his thoughts about how you win baseball games.
Nobody, excuse me, Buck, is ever going to feel sorry for the Yankees when they have their share of injuries, and they've had their share of injuries the last couple of years. But they come to the ballpark and they're trying to win ball games every single night.
Everybody in the East has had their share of injuries, of course. Tampa Bay lost Matt Moore and Alex Cobb. Orioles don't have Matt Wieters. They just lost Manny Machado. Now they might lose Steve Pearce for the rest of the season. Blue Jays, we all know about all of the tough injuries they've had to deal with. But it's been a tough season for the division. Both McCann and Bill Miller got sprayed with that turfus on that foul ball. Both the umpire and the catcher had a bunch of dirt kick up in their face on that last foul ball, and they're still spitting out sand and rocks from that last foul ball.
Melky's been seeing the ball against Pineda. This is his second extended at bat against the big right-hander.
Hits this one hard. Nice hop for Stephen Drew. Blue Jays go down in order, and they're half of the third. We'll go to the fourth. The Jays have a 2-0 lead over Pineda and New York. Jays Baseball partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. A day to be out on the water as that boat is headed over to Center Island with the bike in hand. They're going to ride around and enjoy the great weather here this afternoon, the final Saturday of August. Summer's coming to an end. Boy, it's been a great summer. The weather has been spectacular. Blue Jays need to turn things around and finish up strong in August and put together a good month in September. So far, so good this afternoon. They have a 2-0 lead as we head to the fourth. Brett Gardner makes the first pitch strike. Brett Gardner signed a lucrative contract in the offseason. I believe he signed a $50 million contract for the Yankees. Everybody was suggesting, well, he's not a $50 million player. Well, according to the Yankees, he is. And they like what he brings every single day. He brings his A game. Last year with the Yankees, injuries knocked him out most of the season. But 2 years ago, in 2012, he had the elbow problem. Last year, he played 145 games for New York.
He's an astute baseball guy, isn't he?
He loves to look at the box scores and keep track of everything that's going on around baseball. He's probably got MLB at bat.
I know he does. You know what else? I think you saw the value of Brett Gardner. There were a lot of trade rumors a year or two ago about the Yankees maybe trading Brett Gardner. And I know the Cincinnati Reds were very interested, and they had a great package to give the Yankees for Gardner. And the Yankees said, no, we think that much of him. What he brings to the table, he can play left field, he can play center field, he steals bases, he can hit at the top of the lineup, the bottom of the lineup, and this year he's adding home runs to what he does. 15.
Yeah, he's done a nice job for them, and you're right, he can hit anywhere in the order, and that's the versatility of this team. They've got switch hitters with Beltran, Teixeira, guys that can do a lot of things. And he calls Gardner for the swing. Bill Miller calls him for a swing. Gardner says, man, you got to get some help on that. All Gardner wanted was him to check with the third base umpire, but Miller said he had it.
Yeah, he said, I don't need any help. I saw it myself from right behind Deanna Navarro. That's a good breaking ball right there from Drew Hutchison. That's the kind of breaking ball he's going to need. And that's enough for Bill Miller for the strikeout. Hutchison now has struck out at least one batter in every inning.
And Derek Jeter. Jeter was retired on a fine defensive play by Danny Valencia at third. Hutchison has retired 10 straight to start the game. You know, a lot of people talk about Derek Jeter and the fact, well, the only reason Derek Jeter is held in such high regard is because he played for the Yankees. I don't agree with that one bit. I think if Derek Jeter went to Cleveland, the Indians would have been better. If he went to Pittsburgh, the Pirates would have been better. He's just one of those guys that raises the level of all of his teammates.
I'm with you all the way. Just tell me, how were the Yankees before he got there?
Not so good.
Not so good. And they were not so good for a few years, too.
Yeah, it was a long drought, and he came up, and right at the end of the Don Mattingly era, they brought him up, let him sit on the bench during the playoffs to get a taste of what it was going to be about. His first manager was Buck Showalter, and he had the insight to recognize the skills of Jeter and says, we need to include this guy. Drew Hutchison is firing strikes. 3 straight strikeouts for Hutchison.
He's putting that fastball where he needs it. And he's got good movement on it. That time it looked like that fastball is going to come back to the outside part of the plate. And he's got that pinpoint control going with that fastball.
Carlos Beltran struck out his first time up. Beltran will take first base. He'll be the first Yankee to reach base. He is hit by a pitch with 2 outs.
That ball barely clipped him. It looked like maybe in the elbow pad, but you could hear it. No argument from the Blue Jays as Beltran trots down to first base.
Well, you had mentioned how Hutchison was trying to pitch inside, and there is that elbow pad. Boy, he just got brushed by that ball. But Bill Miller heard it and sent Beltran to first.
First base.
Bill Miller, no doubt about the fact that that ball hit him. Pulled foul down the right side. Skips into the seats.
Blue Jays have done a good job this series against Mark Teixeira, changing speeds on them, using the changeup, and then changing speeds by elevating the fastball.
There's a base hit. This is in the gap. They're going to have to cut it off. Kevin Pillar cuts it off. Beltran is headed to third. He'll be stopped there. They missed the cutoff man. Blue Jays are lucky they stopped Beltran because the throw from the outfield was over the first cutoff man, Munenori Kawasaki.
You know, Buck, that's the problem, I think, when you have those exaggerated shifts. The infielders just aren't real sure who's the cutoff man if there is a double. Danny Valencia was in the overshift, and when the ball went into the gap, he is normally the second cutoff man. He went to second base. Reyes went to third base. There's only one cutoff man, and fortunately for the Blue Jays, Adam Lynn was right there.
Yeah, once they cut this ball off in the outfield, Pillar comes up throwing, and he airmails the first cutoff man, Kawasaki. And the ball bounced 3 times before it got to Lynn. And now McCann gets hit by a pitch. So that'll load the bases. All of this happened after Hutchison struck out the first 2 batters of this inning.
I don't think there was any intent there. You can see the Yankees are talking to Bill Miller. That ball up and in. Catches McCann right in the back.
Carlos Beltran was hit by a pitch with 2 outs. He was the first Yankee base runner. Then Teixeira doubled. Now McCann's been hit by a pitch and the bases are loaded. Martin Prado has 2 career grand slams. Blue Jays lead at 2-0. Yankees threatening in the 4th. Pete Walker, the pitching coach, after that first pitch was way outside, going out to the mound. This is something that you have to be aware of with young pitchers. They could be breezing along and then something goes sideways for them and they don't know how to get it back on the tracks.
You get them in the stretch like that and they might not feel as comfortable. Plus, Pete was telling us in Chicago that he keeps an eye on how many pitches are thrown per inning, and once it gets up into the 20s, he'll really go out there and try and slow things down and give him a little bit of a breather. He was doing really well pitching out of the windup, so why not throw out of the windup now?
Right, and that would be an option you would think they would consider with 2 outs and the bases loaded. He pulls that one down and away, and I agree with you. This would be a time to say, hey, Hutch, wind up, get back to where you were earlier.
Yeah, you were absolutely dialed in, and then you hit Beltran, and then he's missed his spots a few other times now.
This has popped into the outfield. This should end the inning. Pillar is there, and the Yankees leave the bases loaded. It all happened with 2 outs, but Hutchison's able to get out of it. The Blue Jays still lead it 2-0. Saturday, September 13th, the Blue Jays will take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Game time is 1:07 p.m. There are special kids prize tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Call the Blue Jays today at 416-341-1234 or log online at bluejays.com and order your tickets for the next Junior Jays Saturday. It's all presented by Boston Pizza. Jose Bautista homered in his first at-bat. 4 straight games. Bautista has a unique stat going up against pitchers for a first-time plate appearance. He has 19 home runs against pitchers he's facing for the first time in a game.
Yeah, so he does his homework, and he has an idea what that pitcher is trying to do to him. He's also has a .332 batting average in his first plate appearance in a game versus a pitcher. And that home run that he hit in the first inning, 2-run home run, his 19th this season.
Mentioned it was the second time in his career he's homered in 4 straight games.
That batting average and on base plus slugging first time up is the best in the majors. He tied Jose Abreu with that 19th home run. For second place, Giancarlo Stanton's hit 21 home runs in his first plate appearance.
It's a high fly ball into center. Brett Gardner coming in. Bautista's retired. 1 down. When the Blue Jays saw Michael Pineda the first time in 2011, he was a flamethrower. He still uses the fastball, but he doesn't have that same wicked velocity we saw earlier.
Yeah, 61% of the time he's going to use that fastball, but the slider was so much harder back then, too, because he threw so hard. He'll mix in a changeup every now and then. The slider, batters are hitting 208 against it. The changeup, 125 this year. And again, the fastball performance after the disabled list has gotten much better. Teams are hitting just 147 against that fastball since he came off the disabled list.
Adam Lynn flied out to right field. He hit it deep to right and took Ichiro Suzuki right to the warning track. And that was the final out of the first inning.
Just a good off-speed hitter, so that should be a good matchup right here with Pineda.
There's a line drive down the left field line that's going to go up against the wall. Lind is headed for second. And Prada will get it back as Lind has a 1-out stand-up double. That's his 20th double of the season.
Always felt that when he is driving the ball the other way and staying over that outside pitch, it's a fastball down and away. That's where he's going to get a lot of his hits and a lot of his productions. Doesn't drop that back shoulder. If he did, that would have been a fly ball to left field. He stayed true through that baseball. They picked up the extra base hit.
So Lind is at second. Encarnacion is the DH this afternoon. Came back off the disabled list on August 15th.
Outside.
16 of his 27 home runs came in the month of May. Of course, that helped the Blue Jays propel that 21-win month. They really put things together in May.
He put that offense on his back, didn't he? And carried it through that month of May.
And after that high breaking ball. That's a pitch you can excuse a player for going after that high breaking ball. It becomes so inviting, and you just think that you can get on top of it.
Outside.
2-1. Pineda, as he has done all season long, has not walked a batter today. He's been terrific in throwing strikes. Had a couple of strikeouts. Both times he struck out Kawasaki.
You would think that a player who throws this hard would have walks, but he's got very good command. Command of 3 pitches.
Sanchez popped out of play behind the Yankees dugout. Oftentimes when you're talking about a pitcher that's dealt with a serious injury, like a Tommy John or a shoulder surgery, they will clean up their mechanics. They become so aware of proper mechanics and good delivery, and I think that might have helped Pineda get command of the strike zone.
And he's got a very clean delivery. It's always been very, very good. Compact, gets his arm up quickly, stays over the rubber a long time, so his body is working together, the lower half and the upper half.
Ready, swing!
No swing, says Chad Fairchild down at first base, and it's a full count to Encarnacion. Navarro will be next.
Even his off-speed pitch is hard. That used to be an average fastball right there, 88 miles an hour. Got to dial it up just a little bit against this guy.
He is 6'7". He even looks bigger when he's on the mound. Talk about mound presence. That's a fair ball. Chase Headley in time to get Encarnacion 2 down. The Yankees have hung in there in this pennant race because of the strength of their pitching. Over the last 13 games, their team ERA is 3.16. The bullpen is actually pitched better than the starters, but they're both throwing well right now, and that has led to a 9-4 record.
They got a lockdown bullpen. They got a lot of strikeouts coming out of that bullpen, so the starter's job is to get the lead before you get into that 7th inning. The starters, for the most part, they've done a very nice job. 325 firm run average from the starters, and they've won 9 of those 13 games. We'll get Brandon McCarthy tomorrow afternoon.
Yankees bullpen first in the American League in strikeouts per 9 innings, over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings out of their bullpen. Navarro jumps on that first pitch and pulls it foul. Johnner has set a new career high with 57 RBIs. He's given the Blue Jays what they hoped he would with the bat. Consistent at bats, timely hits. Ball squirts away from McCann, but Lind holds his ground at second.
Yeah, he has done a very good job hitting with runners in scoring position this year. There it is, 327, 48 of those 57 RBIs coming with runners in scoring position. He's got a shot, and I think a very good one, to set a career high in home runs. He's got 10 now. His career high was set last year with 13.
Breaking ball on the outside as Navarro fouls it off. Blue Jays as a team have hit .252 with runners in scoring position, so that brings into focus just how valuable Navarro has been. He's hit .327 overall with runners in scoring position. Two and two.
We have had shots this afternoon of Martin Prado in left field. Looking at him from here, it's very shallow for Navarro. We have seen Navarro this year drive balls to that gap in left center field. Look how shallow he is in left field.
Bouncing ball, Headley It's a nice hop. The inning is over. The Blue Jays leave a runner at second base. We'll go to the fifth. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. In the TD Comfort Zone. Our guests of TD, welcome to the ballpark. I hope you're enjoying it. Guy's kicking back pretty good over there. He's nice and comfortable. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are folks from Precious Minds, and we're thrilled to have you here today. Hope you're having a great day, and it is a spectacular day at Rogers Center. Another full house crowd. We had over 43,000 here last night for the first of three. This is the Yankees' final trip to Rogers Center this season. With that, of course, get the last look at Derek Jeter in a Yankee uniform here at Rogers Center. Drew Hutchison shutting out the Yankees on one hit through 4 innings. And you get Stephen Drew to check his swing. Drew's had quite an interesting last 12 months. Finished up the season with the Boston Red Sox, part of their World Series championship team, and then was a free agent. With that became the compensation attachment to players. He was made a qualifying offer by the Boston Red Sox, an offer over $14 million for a one-year contract. And if he would have signed with another team, then the Red Sox would have gotten the first-round pick. And Drew was telling me yesterday he feels that really needs to be changed. Too punitive for a free agent. Draft picks are so coveted now by major league teams, and he feels like it's a penalty for a player who has worked hard to become a free agent. And when you put that kind of price tag on a free agent, it keeps teams from bidding on you. It's a high fly ball into left center. Melky Cabrera takes charge and makes the catch.
Well, you're not a free agent.
Not at all.
Because there's compensation attached. So Scott Boras is his agent, I believe, and he doesn't like that at all.
No, and it's something I'm sure that'll come up in the next bargaining agreement. I believe that will be in 2016, a couple of years away. Chase Headley grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. He shows bunt and pulls the bat back.
Come out. Hutch jumping off the mound right there, ready for that bunt. Blue Jays are playing that 3 infield defense on the right side, and Reyes, the lone defender, on the left side, playing deep. So Headley tries to drop a bunt down.
You know, we have seen the shifts universally throughout the major leagues, and I think all of the people that put these shifts together are quick to mention how many times the shift has taken a hit away from a hitter. I would like to see how many times the shift has cost a team a hit by a routine ground ball going to a position when you're overshifted to one side of the diamond. I don't know if those numbers are ever reported. And Colby Erasmus has been victimized by the shift most of the season, as he is a dead pull hitter.
You and I have watched a lot of baseball today. And my best guesstimate, I would say that it's evened out. It's about the same. We've seen hits taken away. We've also seen the shift give hits to guys where if they were playing straight up. So I say it's 50-50.
I don't know if we'll ever see those numbers, but I think that would be an interesting study. Ichiro Suzuki can handle the bat so well, it doesn't make any difference where you play him. He can find the holes. Headley strikes out, a foul tip held on to by Navarro. That's the 6th strikeout for Hutchison.
At least one in every inning. That time he elevated that fastball against Headley. He can't come up with a four-seamer. You can see it right there. The 2 fingers right across the 4 seams. He elevates it, and the third baseman can't catch up to it.
That was a good illustration of Headley with that uppercut swing, how a high fastball will be effective against him because the bat is on a totally different plane than that baseball, and your timing has to be perfect to make connections. We had mentioned this is the 5th time the Yankees have faced Drew Hutchison this year, and so much for familiarity. Once again, it's proof if you make quality pitches, I don't care if you tell the hitter what's coming.
Pitchers take notes too. You know, and past performances are not going to dictate how you're going to play that afternoon. Right now, Drew Hutchison's hitting his spots.
Coming in. Missed his spot that time as he elevated that fastball.
I love those pitchers when, you know, he obviously missed both of his spots when he hit Beltran and McCann. He's not afraid to go back in there. Against a hitter who's had 10 consecutive 200-hit seasons at the beginning of his big league career.
Set a major league high with 262 hits in 2004. That's the record for hits in a single season. His first season, he had 56 stolen bases. That also led the league.
262 hits in one baseball season.
Hit 372 that year. Ichiro strikes out. A couple of strikeouts in the 5th. Drew Hutchison is dealing. Cover every angle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Breaking news, photos, videos, and weekly chats. A one-stop shop for everything Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are rundown only on Sportsnet.ca. Pilar's adjustment begins to pay dividends, and It was interesting. He made a significant adjustment down in AAA Buffalo.
Yeah, that was right around July or so. He lowered his hands. Beginning of the season when we saw him, he had them up, and he was swinging at a lot of pitches out of the strike zone, and he felt like it was helping him to stay back just a little bit longer. Pitch recognition, he says, is very important for him. He was swinging at a lot of pitches off the plate, and so far it has worked for him.
Danny Valencia will lead things off. Valencia ripped a 2-out single to left field in the second inning. Blue Jays have 2 runs on 4 hits. The Yankees no runs on just a single hit. Jose Bautista 2-run homer in the first. Bautista has homered in 4 straight games.
Trying to make that stand up. They've had some other base runners against Pineda. They just haven't been able to come through.
The ball is driven to right. Suzuki back. Valencia's retired. Kevin Pillar will step in the box with 1 out, and we talk about the adjustments, and we're going to show you a couple of different stances for Kevin Pillar.
Back in June, the hands are a lot higher and out away from his body. This last night, he's got the hands, you can see, just a little bit lower. And again, it helps him to recognize pitches, slow the swing down just a little bit, and it's obviously working.
One thing that was evident from that newer stance, the one he's using right now, his head is a little squarer to the pitcher. You get both eyes square to the pitcher, you can pick up the baseball a little bit better.
He's opened up just a little bit more, his lower half, where that front foot is a little bit more towards third base. That'll help you see the ball.
Pat, you know this very well. It's all about adjustments, and you know, you can talk about a classic stance or a classic swing and a stride, but everybody's a little bit different. Kevin Seitzer's the hitting coach, and he recognizes that you can't teach one style of hitting.
We have seen players over the years change when they get to the big leagues just because they need to. They figure it out. And on top of being a talented player, I think you have to be a smart player. And you got to recognize what can work, and then you have the courage to go out there and try it. And he has done that.
Nasty slider, and Pillar strikes out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. That's quite a pitching matchup there in the White Sox-Tigers game. Max Scherzer for the Tigers against Chris Sale. Ian Kinsler has homered in the game against Sale, as has Victor Martinez. And you heard Jamie talk about Dunn's home run, his 20th against Max Scherzer. Tyler Flowers has also homered against Scherzer. So 2 top-ranked pitchers having a bit of a tough time with the opposing hitters this afternoon.
That's 1 of 2 for those 2 teams.
The second game is really interesting. A couple of rookies will make their debuts in the major leagues. Kyle Ryan, a left-hander, will start for the Tigers, coming up from AAA Toledo, and Chris Bassett, a right-hander, will come up from AA and make his major league debut. So they have to dig down deep into their systems for the second game starters. Reyes is 1 for 2. Bouncing ball. Nice play by Pineda. Ball was behind him a bit. He was able to stick with it and throws out Reyes. 3 up, 3 down. And we'll go to the 6th. And here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew. Brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Monday, September 15th at the Albany Club in Toronto. Join Roberto Alomar, Fergie Jenkins, Cito Gaston, Bob Elliott, Dwayne Ward, Devon White, and many more for a baseball discussion. It's all in support of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. For tickets, log on to baseballhalloffame.ca. Well, a chance to hear some great baseball people to discuss baseball and its state as we wind up another baseball season. Well, the Yankees were shut out through 6 innings in last night's game, and then the roof caved in on Mark Burley in the bullpen as the Yankees scored 5 in the 7th. Drew Hutchison has breezed to this point of the ball game, holding New York to 1 hit and no runs. He has struck out 7.
Got the bases loaded in the 4th inning. That's where they got their 1 hit, a couple of hit batters, but he got out of it on a fly ball.
Gardner gets jammed and hits a fly ball to right. Bautista is there. Derek Jeter wrapping up a 20-year career, and the Blue Jays have had more than their share of Derek Jeter over the years. The all-time hits leader against the Blue Jays, Derek Jeter, stands alone. 332 hits, well out in front of Robin Yount, Johnny Damon, Cal Ripken Jr., and Alex Rodriguez. The people who want to discount Derek Jeter's career just aren't being honest. You look at where he stands in all the different categories, and you can say what you want, but the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, the 3,000 hits, the stolen bases, the Gold Gloves, the Silver Sluggers, the champions, yes, because they're the Yankees, and it's a great team. He's had some milestone hits against the Blue Jays. He got his 2,416th hit. That surpassed Mickey Mantle for sole possession of 3rd place on the Yankees all-time list against the Blue Jays. That was against Jesse Litch back in 2008, and then against Drew Hutchison this year, hit number 3,320, which surpassed Paul Molitor for sole possession of 8th place on baseball's all-time list.
0-2, 1 out. Weak ground ball hit to Kawasaki. 2 down. Boy, Drew Hutchison has really stymied the Blue Jays. Using that fastball very well. Doing a great job of pitching inside with him.
Yeah, the Yankees are surprised a little bit with that fastball. They said they wanted him to pitch inside just a little bit more to both the lefties and the righties.
Carlos Beltran was hit by a pitch in the 4th. He was the first Yankee to reach base. That came with 2 outs. Hutchison had retired 14 straight to start the game. You know, you talk about Pete Walker, and the game plan today was to pitch inside. I just think it's part of the learning process for Drew Hutchison. That's one aspect that's important right now. What you want from a pitcher is the ability to pitch anywhere at any time and command both sides of the plate. That's when you have a finished product.
But don't you think young pitchers pitch away from contact sometimes?
Oh, absolutely.
That they're afraid to go inside, that they might make a mistake and get hurt badly?
I think the real definition of a pitcher is the guy that's pitching contact, and he controls how hard the balls are hit. So Beltran will walk. That's the first walk issued by Hutchison, and Beltran's been on base twice. That's the one thing you have with a veteran hitting team like the Yankees. They will pick up on what you're trying to do, and they'll make adjustments. And a guy like Teixeira now, he can look for a first pitch fastball inside and try to ambush that first pitch.
Yeah, he's a good low ball hitter. Good low ball from the left side. A good low ball hitter. I thought they did that last night against Mark Burley, who was dealing through 6.
He was sitting on that pitch, and Teixeira was a little bit late and got jammed. You know, this is where it becomes imperative for the catcher to help out. Nobody has a better perspective of what a pitcher or hitter is doing than the catcher. You can sense when a hitter is opening up, looking for a particular pitch, and you've got to counteract that with a different pitch. That got Navarro pretty hard. Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, and you can see Neander took the brunt of this foul ball, and watch where it hits him. Square in that mask, and it bounces off his head. And we have talked about that batter's helmet, how it really doesn't hold that mask very tightly, but that's why it's there, so that mask will pop off. It's after the fact, of course.
He has been a tough guy this year too. He has taken a lot of those. We have watched it, and he gets right up, right back into the ball game. This is the first time that I've seen him go down to his knees after a ball right off the face mask, so that one hurt.
You can see the difference in the two masks. The Bill Miller mask is a heavy iron mask, and bars are much sturdier and heavier, obviously. But those iron masks that are the heavier cage, they will give, and they will absorb the blow and the energy of that foul tip. The titanium mask that Navarro is wearing, a much more rigid iron, and it doesn't absorb as much energy. It's a hard pop-up. It's going to be back over the screen. See, Brian McCann was on deck, and he just asked Navarro if he was okay when he went back to look at that pop-up. McCann, of course, the other catcher in this ball game, and that's the biggest concern for catchers is the concussions because of those foul tips.
Yes. It's a fraternity, isn't it?
Well, thank goodness baseball has made the appropriate adjustments. They have a baseline test. They put all the players through at the start of the season, and then if there is a blow to the head, whether it be a thrown pitch or a foul tip, they can test the player and see where their baseline measures up. Teixeira went around. Hutchison with another strikeout. He has had a strikeout in each of the first 6 innings. He has 8 in the ball game. Talk delivers insight and debate. Blue Jays Talk after the game on Sportsnet 590, The Fan. Mike Wilner, Jerry Howard, and Joe Siddle in the radio booth here. Tom Young is the one that makes the show hum. He's the producer. Quite a ball game going on here. Jose Bautista, the only runs in this game. He had a 2-run home run in the first inning.
Drew Hutchison trying to make that stand up. The way that he has been pitching, it looks pretty good.
Tony Pena is talking with home plate umpire Bill Miller. And Pena He didn't come out of the dugout. He was warming up Pineda as Brian McCann was left on deck once the final out was made. So Pena comes out oftentimes and will warm up the pitcher while the catcher gets his catching gear on. So he's got Pineda ready for the bottom of the 6th. Well, the Yankees told us that Pineda had been pitching well of late, and we have seen that firsthand.
His fastball has been better. His command has been real good.
Munenori Kawasaki has struck out twice this afternoon. Kawasaki, of course, played professional baseball in Japan, and his idol in Japan was Ichiro Suzuki. They were teammates in Seattle in 2012. You can see a lot of Ichiro's mannerisms at the plate have been copied by Munenori Kawasaki. First time I saw Munenori, Ichiro introduced me to him as his little brother.
The mannerisms are about the same, aren't they? The inside-out swing, the step towards first base as he is trying to swing the bat.
I saw both Kawasaki and Ichiro during the 2006 World Baseball Classic. They were playing for Japan, and we played Japan in Anaheim. Jake Peavy started against Japan. There's a ground ball. Stephen Drew throws out Kawasaki. But Ichiro hit the first pitch from Jake Peavy about 25 rows back in the seats in right field. He just sent the message that Japan was going to be a serious opponent in the ball game, and we didn't beat Japan. I think it was till the 12th inning. It was a terrific ball game.
He's the best I've ever seen come over from Japan.
Oh yeah,
Ichiro, by far. His game pattern after the Americans game, you know, the speed. I've never seen the speed that he has. And I believe if he wanted to hit 25 home runs a season, he could have done it if he wanted to. He was that good. I think he just liked getting a lot of hits.
At a record pace. Melky Cabrera has gone 0 for 2. Not anymore. Ichiro cuts it off, and Cabrera will stop at first. A 1-out single. Drive of the Game is brought to you by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. Experience the thrill today at your local Acura dealer.
4 straight games now for Jose Bautista where he has done this. Home run to left field. 4 straight breaking balls, and Bautista finally got one he liked, and he didn't miss it. Right off the facing of the second deck, and that's been scoring for the whole afternoon.
That home run was his 100th career home run hit here at Rogers Center. He is 4th on the Blue Jays list for homers in this ballpark. Carlos Delgado leads the Blue Jays with 175 home runs here at Rogers Center. Vernon Wells with 124. Joe Carter had 121, and now Bautista with an even 100. It's an impressive list of sluggers. To center, Gardner is there. Bautista hit it hard. 2 down. Michael Pineda was suspended on April 24th. He was suspended 10 games for a foreign substance. He had pine tar on his neck pitching in April. He was thrown out of that ball game in the second inning and was suspended. He was activated but then placed on the disabled list on May 6th with a shoulder problem, and he ultimately would miss 87 team games with the shoulder issue.
I thought his season was over when we heard about that. Anytime you mess with the shoulder, it could be a long time, but he worked hard and he got back. Missed 87 team games with that shoulder injury.
Adam Lind had an opposite field double in the fourth. He cut a line drive that went all the way down into the corner. Lind grounds out. That ends the inning. The Blue Jays strand another base runner. They're sitting on a 2-0 lead as we head to the seventh. Drew Hutchison has been in command all afternoon. He's allowed one hit through 6 innings and has walked a batter and struck out 8. He has a 2-0 lead as he's working here in the 7th. That sinking fastball has been effective. The command of the inside part of the plate has been important, and he's had pretty good depth on his breaking ball.
Yeah, and he has changed speeds with all those pitches also. Blue Jays don't want to see history repeat itself. Last night, this is exactly where we were in the ball game. 7th inning, Blue Jays had a lead, and it was Brian McCann leading off the 7th.
Blue Jays were leading 1-0 at that point. McCann had a leadoff double that started a 5-run inning. Aaron Sanchez starting to loosen up in the Blue Jays pen. It's a fly ball to left. Cabrera's got plenty of room. McCann is retired. Drew Hutchison has used all of his pitches to rack up the 8 strikeouts.
1 strikeout, at least 1 in each inning. He can elevate the fastball, which he's done a couple of times against those left-handers. He's thrown a good breaking ball down and into the lefties. Also, he's got the check swing going. And on the outside corner, he's used his changeup. He's done a little bit of everything this afternoon against these left-handed Yankee batters. There's another check swing. That shows you the depth of that slider. It's been good this afternoon.
Martin Prado is 0 for 2.
Hutch's season high in strikeouts was against the Milwaukee Brewers back on Canada Day. If you remember that game, he was dealing. 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. A lot like this afternoon.
Yeah, he's really been in command of his pitches, and he established that he was going to throw strikes early on. He retired the first 11 in this game. Bouncing ball, wide of third, foul ball. It's a little looper in foul ground, and that's going to land and go into the seats. Another fly ball to left. Melky Cabrera with another chance. He's there. 2 outs. Stephen Drew, the second baseman, has popped out and flied out. Drew Hutchison, this is his 27th start of the season. Came in this game exactly at 150 innings. No signs whatsoever of any fatigue. He has worked hard to stay fresh.
You know, that's one thing that we asked Pete Walker about some of these young starters for the Blue Jays. His take on if they're getting tired or how they feel. He says they're still strong. They still have their innings in them. There's no fatigue factor out of Marcus Stroman, Aaron Sanchez. None of these young pitchers still going strong.
Stroman was really strong his last time out. 7 2/3 of 5 hit ball. Drew will take a walk, and it's always a concern. That walk will bring the tying run to the plate. It's only a 2-0 game, and with that, Pete Walker's going to take a walk himself out to the mound. Chase Headley is 0 for 2 so far, but remember, Headley had a home run last night. The Yankees are 7 back in the AL East race. They are currently 3 back of Seattle in the wild card race. And you look at the Athletics, they have a 4.5 game cushion over the Tigers. Detroit playing a doubleheader today in Chicago against the White Sox. Seattle got hammered last night by the Nationals as the Nationals hit 6 home runs in that ball game, including 4 against King Felix.
Yeah, they didn't hit it against their 4th or 5th starter. They hit it against the best that Seattle has to offer. It's going to be fun in September with all these teams jockeying for that wild card.
First pitch, changeup off the plate, and Headley is a dead red fastball hitter, and he's got that uppercut swing. He struck out on a high fastball back in the 5th. Another changeup. This one bounced.
Yeah, he got him. He struck him out with that high fastball last time up. So he went change up now to Headley. You got to be careful.
Got him with a breaking ball as he dropped that breaking ball in a fastball count Put that fastball in a good spot, kept it away, ran it upstairs.
Deanna Navarro really wanted that fastball away. He went a couple of breaking balls, a couple change-ups, and a breaking ball, and then Deanna says, give me the fastball. And Hutch shook him off. He said, no, I want that fastball away. If you put it in a good spot, you're going to get strike two. Now they can go anywhere.
Breaking ball, strikeout. Drew Hutchison issued a 2-out walk and racks up his 9th save to end the 7th. At Rogers Center, Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. The Yankees have only 1 hit. Drew Hutchison, the starter, has 9 strikeouts. More importantly, 5 strikeouts to end innings here this afternoon.
When he's needed it, he has been able to reach back for a little something extra. You could tell from that first inning that he had good fastball command. His breaking ball had a big break to it, a lot of depth to it. He's used his changeup. He's probably finished now 7 shutout innings against the Yankees. He's only given up 1 hit. That was the double to Teixeira earlier in the ballgame.
His 5th start against the Yankees. He's in line for the win. Edwin Encarnacion. Blue Jays have 2 runs on 5 hits. The only runs they got were in the first inning on a 2-run home run off the bat of Jose Bautista, his 28th. Hot shot off Jeter's glove. That'll be a base hit. A leadoff single for Encarnacion.
Tough to get it through that left side when you've got 3 defenders. You've got to place it perfectly. Encarnacion rips that ball. Hooks it out of the reach of Jeter. Gets a glove on it, but just can't come up with it. Good start in the 7th inning here for the Blue Jays. You can see Jeter eyeballing that one. It looked like it hit him right on the heel of the glove.
That ball ate him up. He got to it, but it kicked off the heel of his glove. Encarnacion with a base hit. Now 6 hits for the Jays. Navarro has grounded out twice. Foul tip. There's a drive to right. Ichiro back is not going to get it. It's off the wall. Encarnacion is headed for 3rd. Navarro will stop at 2nd. Gianni Navarro with a ringing double over the head of Ichiro in right.
last time up we commented that the outfield looked like they were playing pretty shallow against Navarro. Well, he's going to cross him up, and he's going to smoke one to right field. Fastball out over the plate, and he reaches back and puts a charging one to right field. You can see Suzuki, he's not very deep in right field. Gives up on this one, takes a quick look to see where Encarnacion hits the cutoff man, and Blue Jays are in business here in the 7th. Second and third, nobody out. A little timeout call right now. The infield comes in to stall.
Now Joe Girardi checking on the status of Sean Kelly. Left-hander David Huff has also joined. Joe Girardi with a slow walk out to the mound. Valencia is the batter. Blue Jays have Rasmus, Tolle, and Francisco on the bench. And there's the call. Looks like he wants the right-hander. He's got a lefty and a righty. But he'll stay with a right-handed pitcher. He's made the call for Sean Kelly. Pineda is out. He's on the hook for the loss. 2 runs on 7 hits. Kelly into the game to face Valencia when we come back. Pineda gives up 7 hits for the first time. The previous high in hits allowed during this season was 5. They've been on a terrific run of 2 or fewer earned runs and 5 or fewer hits in a ball game. He turns things over now to Sean Kelly.
49th appearance for Kelly this year. He's got a good fastball and a good breaking ball. And the Yankees need some strikeouts. He's one of the big guys out of their bullpen with the strikeout. He's averaging 12 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Kelly gave up the walk-off base hit to Alex Avila in Detroit. That was on Thursday afternoon. There's a hard slider, and Valencia is quickly behind 0-2. Second and third, nobody out. The infield is in. And Valencia strikes out. There's that strikeout that's so important in these situations. Nowhere to put the ball in play.
Yankees bullpen #1 in strikeouts. And this is a 4-seam rising fastball that he's going to use. It looks very inviting. You think you can get on top of it and drive the ball into the outfield for a sacrifice fly, but it comes up empty. Big strikeout for the Yankees.
So Valencia strikes out. Kevin Pillar needs to put the bat on the ball. That's where you got to really shorten up and just drive it to the outfield. Big runs on base. It's a 2-0 Blue Jays lead. Big swing won't work here.
Yeah, you got to shorten it up. You got a pitcher now coming into the ball game. His job right now is to get the strikeouts, use the slider, use the curveball, fastball. So as a hitter, you want to shorten it up and try and get that ball into the outfield.
Ground ball. Jeter is short. 2 down. Second and third, nobody out. A strikeout of Valencia. A ground out off the bat of Pillar. Now Jose Reyes will step in with 2 outs.
I will take that 2-out hit by Reyes. And he's liable to go after that first pitch. You get 2 tough outs with the infield in. Pitcher wants to jump ahead. Be ready for that first one right here.
Reyes is 2 for 2 against Kelly. They got to throw him a breaking ball on the first pitch. You know he's looking fastball. Fastball they missed upstairs. We're in the 7th. Blue Jays trying to add to their lead. Sean Kelly in relief of Michael Pineda. Pineda goes 6 plus 2 batters. Reyes chased one upstairs, and that sent McCann to the mound. Ball and a strike. Runners on base are Pineda's responsibility.
I think they're changing the signs, what they're going to use right here.
That's what Jeter thought. He came in to make sure he had the right set of signs. Pineda has allowed 2 runs or fewer in each of his last 8 starts going back to 2011. Trying to get him to chase that fastball again.
3 of them. 3 of them up. Trying to take advantage of the aggressiveness of Jose Reyes. Jose's going to have to set his sights down. He's a very good low ball hitter.
It's a fly ball into center field. Gardner is there, and the inning is over. What a job by Sean Kelly. He comes in with nobody out. Runners at second and third. It's a 2-0 Blue Jays lead. Aaron Sanchez into the game to face Suzuki to start the 8th. Speakeasy. Only the notorious get in. Enter for your chance at SleemanSpeakeasy.ca.
When you've got a pitcher who is hot on the mound, you've got to play good defense behind him, and that's what the Blue Jays get. First batter of the ball game. Kevin Pillar, hard charging from center field, takes a hit away from Brett Gardner. They have played very good defense this afternoon behind Drew Hutchison. Kevin Pillar, the play of the game to start this one off.
New pitcher in the game is Aaron Sanchez, as Pillar has had a good start to his run here with the Blue Jays. Sanchez picked up his first big league win against the Yankees back in July in New York.
He has really impressed in his 13 games in the big leagues. Fastball with great movement. He has thrown the ability to throw the breaking ball over when he is behind in the count and use it as a strikeout pitch. John Gibbons shows a lot of confidence in him, bringing him in the 8th inning. I think he might be their 8th inning guy now.
No, I think you're right. They've done a good job of grooming him for this bullpen role, but I believe it's just for the short term. Ball on a strike to Suzuki. Upstairs. Joe Girardi was impressed with Sanchez. He saw him in his 2-inning outing in New York back on the 27th of July. Today he asked me, Blue Jays going to start that Sanchez kid? I said, I don't think so, not this year. But Girardi was impressed with the ease of his delivery.
Yeah. You talk to managers, coaches from other teams, and that's what they all say. Easy cheese. It's an easy delivery, very slow and deliberate, very under control.
Ground ball to third. Suzuki is retired. Drew Hutchison with a terrific start today. After the Blue Jays were beaten last night 6-3, Hutchison comes out and shuts out the Yankees for 7 innings on just 1 hit. The only hit was a Mark Teixeira double in the 4th, and that was it. He retired the first of 11 to start the game. Ends up with 9 strikeouts, one off his career high, and he really set the tone. And Bautista gave him an early lead, and that's been able to stand up.
He had everything working. Play good defense behind him. The only trouble he was in that 4th inning when he hit a couple of batters and gave up that double to Teixeira, but he left the bases loaded.
Brett Gardner leading off. Jacoby Ellsbury did not start in this game. Ellsbury slid into home in the 9th inning and sprained his ankle. He could not start today. They don't believe it's something that's going to keep him out for the long term. Sanchez hasn't been able to really refine his curveball since they moved him into the bullpen. You just don't know when you're going to pitch as reliever. As a starter, there's a regular routine. There's a work day, a rest day, and another work day. So you can refine your pitches on those work days.
Yeah, tough to get your side work when you might have a chance to get into the ball game. And there's only so many bullets or innings, if you will, for Sanchez this last month of the season. The way his fastball moves, he doesn't need a curveball.
Gardner couldn't pull the trigger.
Canon's summer clearance sales event. The season's best prices on digital SLRs and point-and-shoot cameras for a limited time only. Visit a Canon authorized dealer today.
$45,863, a sellout crowd, the 11th time. Acknowledging Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter is 40 years old. Aaron Sanchez is 22. Jeter was 20 when he started his big league career. You asked Derek Jeter today about how special this season was. He said it's just like all the rest.
No, it's not. Yeah, but that's the gamer in him right there. He's just thinking about going out trying to win that day. Aaron Sanchez was born about 2 weeks after Derek Jeter was drafted by the New York Yankees in 1992. Jeter was the first pick, 6 overall by the Yankees that summer in June. Aaron Sanchez was born on July 1st, 1992. Here they are in the big leagues.
Got a battle going on between Sanchez and Jeter. Mentioned that draft, and Jeter filled out his scout's card and put down his height. He said 6'2", he said 180, and he was petrified the Yankees would find out his real weight.
Bring a scale.
Said he weighed about 155 pounds. There's a breaking ball. It misses. Full count. Carlos Beltran is on deck. He was hit by a pitch and walked. He's officially 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the first. Strikeouts for Sanchez. 3 up, 3 down. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. 2-0 Jays. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Drake Song. Live on your smartphone. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com/sports to get started. It is a Junior Jays Saturday. Lots of activities for the kids outside Rogers Center, and then they come inside. They've been treated to a terrific ball game. The only runs of the game scored in the first inning with 2 outs was Bautista, the 2-run home run, and that's been it.
The pitchers have then taken over. Here is the second reliever for the Yankees to work this afternoon, David Huff. He was acquired from the San Francisco Giants on June the 11th. Fit in that bullpen quite nicely as one of their left-handers. 4-1, 386 earned run average. Fastball, curveball, changeup. What you're going to get from Huff.
Steve Tollefson will start things off. He is batting for Munenori Kawasaki in the 2 spot. Kawasaki finished up 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Way inside. Tollefson is hit .302 against lefty pitching this season. One and two.
Tell you what, the Blue Jays have missed a couple of opportunities to get some add-on runs. Got another chance here. Tollefson's got to start it off. You got the best hitters on the ball club coming up behind them.
Last inning was their best opportunity. They had a single and a double to start the inning. Second and third, nobody out. Sean Kelly came out of the bullpen and put out the fire. They were up trying to do the same thing here. Tollefson trying to get aboard. It's a 2-2 count. So the looper in the right. Ichiro is there. Tollefson's retired. Drew Hutchison was great this afternoon. If you go back to his last start against Tampa Bay, and he gave up a single run in the first inning against Tampa Bay, finished with 5 shutout innings, and you couple that with 12 shutout, or 7 today. That's 12 shutout innings in his last 13.
Putting some consistency together. That's what you want to see from your young pitchers. That's 13 innings, just 7 hits, 1 earned run over those last couple of starts. Both American League East teams, Tampa Bay and the New York Yankees, so that's a good sign.
Melky Cabrera takes strike 2. Melky had a base hit to right back in the 6th. He was robbed of a base hit in the 1st by Chase Headley on a sharply hit ground ball at 3rd. It was back in the 1st. Oh, good pitch. He spoiled a good pitch. The Blue Jays have Sanchez in the game, and there's nobody warming up. Kind of interesting. Aaron Sanchez has not had a save opportunity. Looks like he's going back out to pitch the 9th. Melky reaches for it, and Stephen Drew makes the catch. 2 down.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere the way he looked last inning. Why would you take him out?
By the top of the 9th, the Yankees will send Beltran, Teixeira, and McCann to the plate. Jose Bautista responsible for the only 2 runs in this game. His 28th home run came with a man aboard in the 1st. He now has 82 ribbies.
Well, he's looking like he's winding up like he wants another one. Looking for something in right now.
it off the plate with that cut fastball. Adam Lind has a double in 3 at bats this afternoon. Bautista takes ball 4. It comes with 2 outs. Didn't look like Huff wanted much to do with Bautista in that situation.
God, I'll pitch him and take my chances with the left-hander. And Linz has got a hit right now because Encarnacion, the backup first baseman, is the DH.
Lind has a .355 batting average against right-handed pitching this season. That's the best in the majors. But he hasn't had many at-bats against lefties. Fouls off the first pitch. For Lind, this is just his 31st at-bat against left-handed pitching. He has become a platoon player. Two outs. Bautista drew that throw. He made a false step towards second enough. Took the bait.
I think the Yankees are remembering that big stolen base that Bautista had at Yankee Stadium, where he stole second base and scored on the base hit by Navarro. It was a game winner earlier this year.
Lynn drives it into center, and Gardner is there. Then hit it hard again, but right to the center fielder, so we will go to the ninth. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Aaron Sanchez out, trying to close it out. Best magazines on your tablet with Next Issue. Baseball fans, sign up at nextissue.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. Those folks are having a great afternoon. The wind is howling up there, isn't it? Wow.
I don't know if that would be
such a great afternoon, huh?
That's a great afternoon, but it looks neat.
Donaldson stays in the game at second base. Sanchez misses with the first pitch to Beltran. Beltran batting third in this Yankees lineup this afternoon. Ball on the strike. Hutchison went 7, allowed just 1 hit, struck out 9. Sanchez retired the side in order in the 8th with a couple of strikeouts.
Both of them looking, and that tells you the kind of stuff that he possesses. Both fastballs. Gardner was looking for the breaking ball, and then he painted Derek Jeter.
Ground ball, Thomason. The first, 1 down. Casey Jansen loosening up just in case. I think this is all Sanchez here. Aaron has retired all 4 batters since coming into the game. Mark Teixeira has doubled, the only hit for the Yankees. Little bouncing ball. That's a fair ball. Lindell step on the bag. 2 outs. Fans, a reminder coming up right after this game. Stay tuned. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn will go over this game and break it all down. I'm sure they'll have a lot to say about Drew Hutchison and Aaron Sanchez. Jose Bautista has homered in 4 straight games. The Blue Jays trying to even the series at a game apiece. Bautista with another first-inning home run, a 2-run shot, the extent of the scoring this afternoon.
And the pitchers took over. Hutchison and now Sanchez trying to put the finishing touches on it.
Oh, and 2.
Fastball is almost, you can't square it up because it just dives down and away from the lefties, and he'll use it with 2 strikes.
Sanchez got his first big league win against the Yankees on the 27th of July at Yankee Stadium. Now he's got his first big league save. What a ball game. Jose Bautista with a first inning run. Aaron Sanchez punctuates a great outing by the pitchers. Good defense. Kevin Pillar once again in center field. For the afternoon, the Blue Jays strike out 12 Yankees. New York musters just a single hit.
That was the double by Teixeira back in the 4th inning when they had a serious threat. They left the bases loaded. This was all about the Blue Jays' young pitchers. Drew Hutchison, 7 shutout innings. Aaron Sanchez, 6 up, 6 down. Jose Bautista supplying all the offense, and the Blue Jays have a chance to win the series tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon, it'll be Brandon McCarthy against Jay Happ. Blue Jays win it 2-0. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Here's Jamie Campbell and Craig Zahn. Have a great night, folks.